Hi, how's it going? My name is Alex Pelt. I'm the U.S. Platform Manager for Wallboard. So also on the call with us today, we have Rod Roberson, and he is our co-CEO. And so thank you again for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. I hope everyone is doing A-okay with the current situation that we're all in. But I'm very excited to have everybody here. So what we'll be doing today is going through and discussing a little bit about Wallboard as a CMS partner, as well as our connection and capabilities with Brightsign and Brightsign BSNcloud. So with that, I want to just kind of discuss a little bit about the agenda today that we'll be going through. And the first one is just we'll be going through a little bit about who Wallboard is, what we bring to the table, our then communication and connection with Brightsign and BSNcloud. And we'll walk through the platform just a little bit and then go over our pricing and then go into some Q&A. So with that, further ado, I want to go ahead and start sharing my display here and turn this over to Rod.
Thanks, Alex. Again, my name is Rod Robertson. I'm the co-CEO of Wallboard. And just a couple quick bullet points about the company itself. You want to go to the first slide? So we were founded in 2012 by my partner, Robert Simon, who's based out of Budapest, Hungary. The business operations sit in Dallas, Texas. That's where I sit, along with the US-based sales team and the US support team that's led by Alex. We've got 25 plus developers working near Budapest, Hungary, and we think this is a real competitive advantage for us because it allows us to produce major upgrades and enhancements about every 90 days. We're coming out with a next release with major upgrades to the actual system. At this time, we've got about 40 reseller distribution partners operating in 20 countries in North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. We're completely channel based, and so we're looking for more partners, hopefully on the call today, to expand our market share.
So a part of the Wallboard value proposition, and to kind of go over the kind of four major key characteristics here before we kind of go into the platform demonstration, is one, easy to use. Our interface really has been designed so that a string of people ranging from the person sitting at the front of the desk as well as potential of full-on marketing teams can utilize our software and be able to understand and easily create the messaging that they would like to potentially create. In addition to that is that content creation. So our system does have that full suite of content creation capabilities through the use of our elements and widgets, very similar to the PowerPoint and Photoshop, where I have the capability to adjust any of the properties that are presented through those widgets and those elements. Now, data driven, our system does make it very, very easy to connect live data to our system and bring that into that content creation portion so that I can tie in Google Sheets as well as complex data, for example, XML and JSON into our presentations so that we can have live data driving those KPIs to the digital displays. And then, of course, versatility. Our platform allows our customers to utilize the newest technologies without having to overpay for any type of custom development. So as Rod mentioned previously, our team of developers really turns around some great working items every 90 days or so. And those are actually brought to our clients as a part of our server updates and upgrades. So at that point, whenever we have a new feature set that comes through, that is just added into our server at no additional cost. So Brightsign Cloud integration with Wallboard. So as far as Wallboard goes with Brightsign, we have a Brightsign application that we can install on Brightsign devices and allow that to be connected to our Wallboard platform. And at that point, we can also push our presentations to those devices. Now, with the Brightsign Cloud, I think this is a major item that is going to make it very, very easy to set up these devices as well as allow our system to further integrate into the Brightsign network and be able to send our presentations and our content to those devices easily. And so with that Brightsign Cloud, we're going to be able to easily set the devices up through remote management and be able to send our application through those means. And so this is where I'd like to go ahead and also switch over to our web browser and actually take a look at that Brightsign Cloud. So let's go ahead and switch over there. And now we're inside of the actual BSNcloud Web Interface. And one of the major items here that we've been able to work with Brightsign about is the fact that whenever our clients and our partners want to set up new devices, they can create a brand new device setup. And with that device setup, they can easily navigate over to our partner applications. And from there, they can actually scroll down and choose Wallboard. And at that point, whenever you send that device setup to the devices that you have activated within the BSN cloud, that's going to automatically install our Wallboard application and present it as a brand new device that we can connect to our Wallboard CMS. And so with that, it just makes it so much simpler in deploying out new devices throughout your Brightsign network and be able to get our application on there. So what we'll go ahead and do is we're going to navigate to our actual Wallboard CMS. And one thing I want to mention is within the Wallboard, it is a cloud-based platform. So everything I do is actually through a web browser. So right now we're in a Google Chrome session. I've logged into my unique portal. I've logged in with my unique credentials, and I'm now greeted with our home portal here. And this is really split up into two major areas. The first one is our screens. And this is where we actually go through to connect those Brightsign devices. So I can easily click this blue plus icon and add a screen right here. And this is going to allow me to attach it to a particular license order, as well as type in the temporary ID that we've been given from that device, as well as a new name for that so that we can actually manage it in a good way. So I could go ahead and do that and click save. And now I can see I have that brand new device as a part of my screens that I can now manage and send brand new presentations to. Now, whenever we talk management within our screens, this is simply done by right-clicking on these screens, and we can then send management commands directly to the devices themselves, whether that's renaming the screen, binding specific data rows, potentially even sending a restart screen command to the device. At that point, that just allows us to send that troubleshooting capabilities through the internet to your device. On the other end of it, I can right click and actually choose content and select a brand new presentation that I want to assign to this particular device. So I can go ahead and click that send. And at that point, that presentation has now been sent to that Brightsign device. And that device is actually going to download and cache that information to the Brightsign unit so that in times that the network goes down to where the player can't reach our cloud server, at that point, you're still going to be able to have your presentations be running to your displays. Now we do offer our management so that we can have these screen groups. They're very much like folders. So I can go ahead and select on one of these, and this is going to allow me to see what devices are part of it, as well as the presentation attached to them. So we can manage those Brightsign devices where they need to potentially be in terms of your organization. Now, the presentation, the second half of this portal, is really driven by three major items in our system. The first one being our loops. The loops is a very simplified full screen image, full screen video playlist editor. And the idea of this is, again, to keep it very simple, make it very simple for our users to create that presentation, create that goal in terms of the messaging, and be able to send that out to devices. The next one is our content. And our content is actually utilizing our more complex content editor. And within that content editor, we do give our clients a blank canvas that they have the capabilities of bringing in as many elements and widgets that they'd like to use, sizing them and repositioning where they'd like to inside of that canvas, as well as connecting to live data, creating interactive contents, as well as creating connections to live sensors. So we can have sensor-based engagements with our content to trigger out new ways to deliver information. And the final way is actually through our schedules. The schedules just allows us to take those content items and allow me to play them at a certain time at a certain area. And so that if I'm in a restaurant, I can go ahead and create a schedule for my breakfast, my lunch, as well as my dinner-based content. So we'll jump into the loops and the contents editor here so that you can get a good understanding of how we're creating these presentations within the Wallboard system. So I'm just going to go ahead and left click on here. And this is going to bring us actually into the loop editor. And we'll see our playlist over here on the left-hand side with the 3 images and the time attached to them. We're then also greeted with our different libraries. So we have the ability to bring in our images, videos, as well as additional items like layouts and loops. Now, once I upload my media assets through our file manager, I can then take those media assets via image and drag and drop them into our loop playlist. Once I do that, I can easily adjust the time that I would like that particular image to be played whenever this is rotating through its loop. Same thing goes for our video. So I can easily drag and drop a video into this. And at that point, one thing I want you to notice is that our software will automatically detect how long the video is going to be played for. And at that point, provide that as a value. Now, I can easily change this to be longer than that, as well as potentially shorter than that. And that will allow me to, again, make modifications to our loop. Now, once I do this, I can easily click save. And one powerful item within our Wallboard platform is our ability to preview our presentations before we send them out to our Brightsign devices. So I can easily click on this play icon here, and this will open up a brand new tab and start playing through that particular information for me. So this just allows me to further see what I'm going to be editing before I send it out to the devices. So I'll go ahead and click home here, and we're going to navigate into our contents. And we do offer management of our contents very similar to how we manage our screens. So we have these folders here, these content folders that just allow me to kind of further understand where my content's potentially sitting so that I don't necessarily have it scattered throughout the place. So I can easily click on this corporate communications. And if I go ahead and scroll down here, I can see this presentation. Now, if I right click on this, very similar in our screens, I can edit it, I can rename it, I can lock it down so users don't have the ability to change anything. I can duplicate it, make an exact copy. But again, where the system's powerful is I can actually preview this presentation before I send it out. And so I can get a good understanding of what we're going to be showing to our screens. Now, in terms of this content, we're actually going to be able to, again, tie live data to this so we can bring in these metrics and set up thresholds. We can also have animation set up to these widgets so we can, again, create these engaging materials without the need of potential outside sources to develop those videos that we'd be able to show. This can all be driven within our platform. So I'll go ahead and jump into one of these, and I'll navigate to our recreation content folder, and I'm going to duplicate this Boy Scouts of America item right here. Now, this is going to create an exact copy of it. And what I would like to do first is let's go ahead and take a look at what we'll be making a change to. So the major items here is that we have this video playing right here, and this video is just going through and showing, what are the Boy Scouts about, as well as we have an image gallery over here on the right-hand side that's rotating, and then some information regarding upcoming events, and of course our branding. So we can make changes to this very simply by left-clicking on this, and this will bring us into our content editor. And at this point, now we haven't left any external application. We're still within our web interface, the Google Chrome session. And I can see that video. I can go ahead and select it. And with the power of our blank canvas, I can size it wherever I like to, as well as potentially place it wherever I like to. And of course, make any type of rotational change or changes to the properties regarding this video. So once I do that, I can easily click save. And I do have the capability of previewing from this editor as well. So we can see those changes happen right away and be able to understand how those changes are affecting our digital signage and the presentation that we'll be assigning to it. Now, with that, we do have a string of elements that you can bring into the mix just via drag and drop. And those items can be text, images, the videos, as you've seen, URLs, weather information. We have quite a bit that you can bring into that blank canvas to edit. Now, the final item that I want to quickly show is our schedules. So once we get our content situated, I can go ahead and create a brand new schedule. And at that point, this just allows me to do exactly what I said earlier. And with that is I can create the time-based schedule that I want each individual content to be potentially played for. So in this particular use case example, we have this Lily's restaurant, and we have a repeating campaign that is going through and giving us our breakfast menu, our lunch menu, our happy hour, and our dinner menu every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And at that point, I can easily add items into the mix by just simply dragging and dropping onto the particular day. And that's going to allow that particular content presentation to be played once that day comes through. So we can make these easy changes just directly this way. Now, once I make these changes in terms of the loops, the schedules, as well as the content, I can quickly assign these by easily dragging and dropping that particular presentation to the device I'd like to send it to. And at that point, that will automatically start downloading and caching that information to the device. Now, with this, again, we're scratching the surface in terms of the capabilities that we can control within this system. And I'd like to, of course, explore those opportunities with you. But one thing I do want to quickly mention, and this will kind of lead into our next point in this presentation, is I'm not worried about how many loops, content, or schedules that you create, or the number of users within the system. Where we draw our pricing from is actually from the individual screens themselves. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and pass this back over to Rod, and I'm going to share our PowerPoint presentation one more time here, and we're going to go ahead and move into our pricing.
Thanks, Alex. So just a very quick minute on pricing. We've historically gone through several iterations of pricing, and the feedback we've gotten is, keep it simple. And so we've really landed on something in an effort to make it as simple as possible. So in terms of our SaaS-based cloud licensing, it is per player. And from an end user standpoint, it is one price, $20 per month per screen, up to 100 endpoints. Above 100 endpoints, we can certainly talk about volume-based pricing. But below that, the end user sees one price and they get anything and everything that's in our platform. So no upcharges for various different widgets or various different other pieces of functionality. The only difference is basically how the partner delivers the actual service to the client. So we have three different levels in terms of how we can do that. So we obviously have our own cloud infrastructure that the partner can utilize. If the partner is utilizing our cloud infrastructure and wants us to fully support the end user directly, we're going to give the partner discount. That partner discount starts at 30%. We offer the opportunity for our partners to provide level one support on their own if they're going to utilize our cloud infrastructure, but are providing that support. There's a sort of what we call a medium discount, so a greater than 30%. And then we also have the ability for the partner to have their own dedicated service, so they can either white label that, or it can be a Wallboard server, but they can be entirely in control of both the cloud infrastructure and the level one support. And that is where we would provide the largest discount. Our service is mostly by default cloud-based, but we also offer the ability for our partners to sell on-prem services or servers. So the server license there is $4,600 for the one-time license with an annual maintenance of 18%. So for further information on those medium and large partner discounts, we can schedule a partner engagement call and talk to you guys specifically about those specific discounts.
All right. So with that, we just want to leave you with our Wallboard tagline. So create from anywhere, publish to everywhere. And with that, we thank you so much for joining us in this presentation and walking through the Wallboard platform and its connection with Brightsign and their brand new BSNcloud and the capabilities there. We'd love to work with you and your end users, as well as set up any type of follow-up calls that we need to potentially set up to go over in depth, communication and the capabilities within the Wallboard platform itself. So for all sales inquiries, please reach out to sales@wallboard.info. For all technical inquiries, please feel free to reach out to me, avanpelt@wallboard.info. I'd love to answer any of those questions as well as work on any projects with you, because I really enjoy what I do here at Wallboard and developing these solutions for our clients.